The Customs Area Controller of Tinkan Island Port Command, Controller Derad Nnamdi, has commended port users for the success made so far in the first half of 2024. Speaking at a press conference which took place at the Maritime Reporters Association of Nigeria (MARAN) in Apapa, Lagos, he equally applauded officers at his command while reading the scorecard.
Tinkan Island Port Command achieved a revenue collection of 575 billion 505 million 612,804 naira 59 kobo. Let me put it in a short form. Tinkan Island Port Command for the period January to June collected 575 billion 505 million 606,804 naira 59 kobo. As at this morning, July 12, our revenue stands at 627 billion 730 million 504 naira 631 naira 59 kobo. Permit me to give a little bit of statistics so that our esteemed stakeholders and the general public will understand the effort put in place by officers and men of Nigerian Customs Service at Tinkan Port. Our revenue target for the entire year is 1,403 million. Some of you may have noticed that revenue target is increased. When I addressed you earlier this year, the revenue target was 1,313 billion. But midway, sometime around June, the service deemed it necessary to increase the target once more. So what is significant about our performance so far? For this same period in 2023, January, June 2023, the command collected 260 billion 256 million 942,120 naira 69 kobo. I repeat, for the period January to 31st June 2023, Tinkan Island Port Command collected 260 billion 256 million 942,120 naira 69 kobo. If you compare this with what has been collected January to 31st June 2024, you will see that there is significant increase of 315 billion 248 million 670,683 naira 90 kobo. This is a whooping 221.13% increase compared to what was collected in the year 2023. I know that we are keeping records. We will avail you of these statistics formally. I wish to use this opportunity to congratulate officers and men of Nigerian Customs Service, Tinkan Island Port Command, and indeed the Controller General of Customs and the Zonal Coordinator, Zone A, for their leadership and encouragement that led to this huge performance in revenue collection in Tinkan Port. Let me also thank our esteemed stakeholders who are the ones paying this duty. We appreciate their support and patronage. But above all, let me thank the Nigerian media, particularly the Maritime Reporters Association of Nigeria, for their support in sensitizing our stakeholders on how to comply with our rules and regulations. In the area of enforcement and anti-smuggling operation, the Command's Enforcement and Anti-Smuggling Unit has not been relenting in its effort to combat smuggling and all forms of criminality. Customs, being the lead agency at the port, through its enforcement unit, has coordinated several 100% physical examinations, and with collaboration with critical stakeholders, we have recorded several seizures, some of which has been made known to you in the past. But permit me to mention that you have witnessed the guns that we seized in the past. You have also witnessed the drugs that were seized in Tinkan, including the 3 containers, 2 of which contained cocaine and 1 of which contained heroin, in addition to cannabis indica that were seized. You are also aware of the latest visit of the Controller General of Customs to Tinkan to showcase 1,072 kilograms of cannabis indica seized in the port by officers and men of Nigerian Customs Service, Tinkan Island Port Command. That occasion also witnessed the seizure of some codeine that was used to bring in disguise, cough syrup. As we are all aware, the duty paid value of all the seizures made in Tinkan for both the drugs, less the arms, is over 8.9 billion. I want to say that the significance of these seizures does not just lie in the value, the duty paid value, but for the fact that we have saved the nation of injection of these dangerous drugs into our society to ruin our youths and citizens. Let me commend our officers for this wondrous effort. Let me also state that we are not going to relent in our effort in ridding the society of illicit drugs, arms, and other dangerous items that are imported without conformity to Nigerian Customs Service rules and regulations. As we are all aware, the federal government and indeed the Controller General of Customs and the Nigerian Customs Service have laid so much emphasis on the need for us to promote export.
According to the CAC, the high export figures recorded for first and second quarter of 2024 is attributed to the high degree of stakeholders' engagement and accessibility of the Tinkan Island Mile 2 Port Access Road.
It is indeed a sign of development for a nation if you export more and import less. And to that extent, Tinkan Island Port Command, within the period under review, January to June 2024, handled commercial goods exported through the port to the tune of 1,032,601,044,7 774 naira only. This is the value of export that was taken out through Tin Can Port for the year 2024 between January and June 31st. Permit me to repeat the figure. 1,032,601,044,774 naira worth of cargo was exported out through Tin Can Port between January and 31st June 2024. This amounts to 489,594.50 metric tons of cargo. If you compare this with what we did in the year 2023, what was expected was equivalent of, in Naira, 182 billion, 333 million, 764,943 naira. You can see the quantum leap in export processing in Tin Can as a result of modalities put in place by the command to enhance exports. The volume that was exported within the period 2023 is 291,436 metric tons. This is almost half of what is expected this year. So you can see that there is so much interest in exports through the command. Let me say that everything we did within the command for this period that I've mentioned was not done in isolation. We have done that with the cooperation and collaboration of stakeholders. And so, the Tin Can Island Port Command has in the past few months engaged with different sections of stakeholders, shipping companies, terminal operators, barge operators, and even the media. Just yesterday,
despite several challenges encountered in collecting data for time-release studies, the report of the study will be unveiled in September by the Controller General, who also officially launched it in Lagos.
Let me say that every collaboration we share with our stakeholders is appreciated. As we continue to improve on our services, particularly as we intend to attain full e-service in Nigerian Customs Service, we will continue to request that MARAN, and indeed every journalist, support our aspirations. Let me say that criticisms are good. However, we must criticize with the sole aim of building society. Nigeria is a major player in the international market, and without equivocation, we are the giant of Africa in trade. With a population of over 200 million people, you cannot undermine Nigerian economy. I will therefore plead that while reporting activities in the maritime industry, we should be conscious not to demarcate Nigeria and what it represents. All our efforts should be geared towards encouraging trade and establishing a healthy relationship for investors' confidence in our economy. I will continue to express our appreciation for the support and clear sense of direction of the Controller General of Customs, who, having been just 1 year in office, has demonstrated enough capacity and has shown direction to us in the industry. May I, at this point, request that the same support you've given us at the command level should also be extended to the CG, Bashir Adewale Adeni, MFR, who has shown enough commitment. And of course, I am not asking for too much. It is not by accident, it is by God's design that the CG was once one of us as the Public Relations Officer of Nigerian Customs Service, who also started his career in Tinkan Port as 2IC to late Lawal in the Public Relations Unit before he grew to become the National Public Relations Officer and eventually the Controller General of Customs. It is also not by accident, but by God's design that right now, as I'm speaking to you, Tinkan Island Port is headed by once PRO in my person, and Apapa Port Command is headed by once PRO in the person of Dr. Controller Tunde Olomu, and Seme is also being headed by a once Public Relations Officer who took over from me at Apapa, Controller Olomu, Timi Bomadi at Seme. Let me say that the four names that I've just mentioned, from the Controller General of Customs to Dr. Babatunde Olomu to Controller Timi Bomadi and Controller Dera Nade, are all products of all the people seated here today. Okra, as they say in Igbo land, can never grow bigger than the person that planted it. Some of you seated here today, if you were in customs, the least rank you would have won would have been Deputy Controller General of Customs. I want to appreciate all of you, particularly the veterans who are here, looking